Lil Wayne, a titan in the rap game, captivated millions with his lyrics and magnetic personality, rising to the top of the music industry. But an incident occurred that changed everything as the rapper watched himself go from spitting bars to sitting behind bars. As the gavel struck in the courtroom, it was Wayne's reaction to his prison sentence that got everyone in the room talking. Facing the music. In 2010, Lil Wayne's career faced a major setback when he was sentenced to a year in prison on a gun charge. The incident that led to his incarceration occurred in July 2007, when police found a loaded .40 caliber pistol on his tour bus after a performance in New York City. Facing serious charges, Wayne pleaded guilty in October 2009 to attempted criminal possession of a weapon. In March 2010, he began serving his sentence at Rikers Island, a notorious jail complex in New York City. Fans and critics had mixed reactions. Some felt justice was being served, while others worried about the impact on his career. Initially, Wayne took the sentence in calmly while maintaining a positive outlook. He understood the gravity of his situation and projected resilience and acceptance. In interviews before his incarceration, Wayne's expression indicated that he was prepared to face the consequence of his actions. This acceptance was characteristic of his public persona, which often balanced bravado with thoughtfulness. Housed in the Eric M. Taylor Center at Rikers Island, Wayne was not granted any special privileges despite his celebrity status. His time in prison was marked by isolation and a lack of the luxuries he was accustomed to. Despite the hardships, Wayne used this time to focus on his mental and physical well-being, reading extensively, working on his fitness, and writing parts of his memoir, Gone Till November, a journal of Rikers Island. His reflections on his prison experience reveal a mix of hardship and personal growth. He spoke about how the isolation and lack of stimulation were tough to handle. Wayne detailed the monotonous routine of prison life, the difficulty of being away from his family, and the interactions with fellow inmates and prison staff. He described moments of deep reflection, thinking about his life choices and the direction of his career. The journal entries from this period offer an unfiltered look at his struggles and endurance. Upon his release on November 4th, 2010, Lil Wayne returned to his career with pent-up enthusiasm. In interviews, he often reflected on how the experience had changed him.
Literally, honestly, the first thing that I appreciated when I got out was not having to wear handcuffs.
He expressed gratitude for the support of his fans and loved ones during his incarceration. Similar to Lil Wayne, another artist that found himself in trouble was Gucci Mane, when in 2013, Gucci Mane's career faced a turning point marked by a series of unstable behaviors and legal troubles. It began when his bizarre conduct led to 2 arrests within days. Reports of his bizarre conduct began to surface, and it wasn't long before the police were called to the scene. When they arrived, they found Gucci Mane behaving unpredictably, which led to his arrest for disorderly conduct, possession of marijuana, and carrying a concealed weapon. It was a significant incident, but it was only the beginning of his trouble. Just 2 days later, on September 16th, the situation escalated dramatically. The police encountered him acting aggressively, and during the chaos, he threatened the officers. A search revealed that he was in possession of a loaded Glock 40 caliber handgun and a .45 caliber handgun, along with more marijuana. This wasn't just a case of bad behavior. It was a clear violation of federal law, especially given his prior felony convictions. In December 2013, Gucci Mane was indicted on 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Faced with overwhelming evidence and the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence, he decided to take a plea deal in May 2014, admitting to possessing the firearms. In August 2014, he was sentenced to 39 months in federal prison. Gucci Mane's incarceration at the United States Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana, marked a period of serious transformation. The harsh prison environment prompted him to reflect on his choices and make significant lifestyle changes. He got sober, lost weight, and focused on his mental and physical health. Despite his absence from the music scene, his name remained on the lips of fans and critics, and he used letters and phone calls to stay connected to the outside world and plan his comeback. On May 26, 2016, Gucci Mane walked out of prison, a free man. His release came earlier than expected due to good behavior and time served. The man who emerged was remarkably different, physically fitter, mentally sharper, and determined to reclaim his place in the music industry. His time in prison had provided a period of reflection and growth, similar to Wayne's experience. Both Lil Wayne and Gucci Mane's incarcerations were marked by significant personal and professional challenges, yet both artists used their time behind bars to reflect, grow, and ultimately return to their careers with renewed focus and determination. Brushes with the law. Lil Wayne is not only a prolific rapper, but also a magnet for legal disputes. Throughout his illustrious career, he has faced numerous lawsuits that have ranged from drug charges to firearm offenses and contractual disagreements, and even to accusations of assault. These legal battles have had a significant impact on his career and finances. Lil Wayne's brushes with the law began early in his career. In 2007, he was arrested in Atlanta for drug possession when police found marijuana and ecstasy on his tour bus, leading to his first major legal issue. This incident was the beginning of a string of more serious charges that would follow. In January 2008, Lil Wayne faced another significant legal issue when he was arrested in Yuma, Arizona, after a border patrol stop. Authorities discovered marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy on his tour bus. Wayne was charged with possession of narcotic drugs for sale, possession of dangerous drugs, and possession of drug paraphernalia. In June 2010, while still in prison for his New York gun charge, Wayne reached a plea deal for the Arizona case. He pleaded guilty to one count of possession of a dangerous drug and was sentenced to 36 months of probation. The plea deal helped him avoid additional prison time, but placed him under strict conditions. In December 2019, Lil Wayne faced another firearm charge, this time in Miami. Federal agents searched his private plane and found a gold-plated .45 caliber Glock handgun, along with ammunition, cocaine, ecstasy, marijuana, heroin, painkillers, and prescription-strength cough syrup. Given his previous felony conviction, Wayne was prohibited from possessing a firearm. In December 2020, Wayne pleaded guilty to illegal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He faced up to 10 years in prison for the charge. However, in a surprising turn of events, outgoing President Donald Trump granted Wayne a full pardon on January 20th, 2021, just hours before leaving office. This pardon wiped clean the federal weapons charge, allowing Wayne to avoid potential imprisonment. Beyond the major drug and firearm charges, Lil Wayne has had numerous other run-ins with the law, including civil lawsuits and minor infractions. These have included allegations of assault, legal disputes over unpaid fees, and various other issues that have kept his legal team busy. One of the most high-profile legal battles in Lil Wayne's career was with his longtime label, Cash Money Records. In 2015, Wayne filed a lawsuit seeking $51 million against Cash Money and its CEO, Brian "Birdman" Williams. The suit alleged that the label had withheld significant payments from Wayne, including his share of profits from his music and advances for the highly anticipated album, The Carter V. The lawsuit also sought the termination of Wayne's contract with Cash Money, claiming breach of contract. This legal battle lasted for several years and created significant tension between Wayne and Birdman, who had once shared a close mentor-mentee relationship. In June 2018, the dispute was settled out of court. Although the exact terms of the settlement were not disclosed, it was reported that Wayne received a significant payout and regained ownership of his music. This settlement allowed the release of The Carter V in September 2018, much to the delight of his fans. In 2016, Wayne was sued by Signature Group, a private jet company, for failing to pay over $1 million in charges for services rendered. According to the lawsuit, Wayne and his Young Money Entertainment Company had accumulated substantial bills for chartered flights, but had not settled the payments. After a court ruling in favor of Signature Group, Wayne was ordered to pay the amount owed. Lil Wayne has also faced multiple lawsuits alleging physical assault and battery. In 2016, a nightclub bouncer filed a lawsuit claiming Wayne punched him during a BET Awards after party in Los Angeles. The bouncer alleged that Wayne became angry when the club tried to search his entourage. Similarly, in 2019, Wayne was sued by a former personal chef who alleged wrongful termination and unpaid wages. The chef claimed she was fired after caring for her injured son and that Wayne's team had failed to compensate her for overtime work. Wayne's collaborations have also led to legal disputes. In 2014, producer Ramon Owen, known as REO, sued Wayne for unpaid royalties related to the song Mirror from the album The Carter IV. The producer claimed that despite the song's commercial success, he had not received his due share of the profits. Similar lawsuits from other producers and collaborators have surfaced over the years, showcasing ongoing issues with contract management and payment disputes within Wayne's business operations. All of these issues, particularly any time spent in prison, can seriously affect a rapper's creativity. Creative setbacks. For many artists, creativity flows freely in environments where they feel inspired and comfortable, but incarceration imposes a really different reality. Prison strips away the freedoms that fuel artistic expression, posing unique challenges for rappers whose creativity is intimately tied to their lived experiences. Lil Wayne's time in prison provides a touching example of how these creative setbacks manifest and the ways in which artists strive to overcome them. When Lil Wayne began his sentence at Riker's Island, he entered a world that was different from the vibrant, chaotic life of a successful rapper. The routines, isolation, and limited resources of prison life can kill creativity. Wayne's usual surroundings, recording studios, live performances, and the unstructured chaos that often inspires his music were replaced with the boring and restrictive environment of a jail cell. This change was more than a physical relocation. It was a creative exile. For a rapper like Lil Wayne, whose work thrives on spontaneity and the ability to quickly capture inspiration, prison posed significant creative obstacles. The lack of access to recording equipment was a primary hurdle. In the free world, Wayne could enter a studio anytime, lay down tracks, and experiment with sounds and lyrics. In prison, the absence of these tools meant he had to find new ways to keep his creative juices flowing. Wayne turned to writing, filling notebooks with lyrics, ideas, and reflections. This practice kept his mind engaged, but the inability to hear and refine his work as he went definitely hindered his creative process. Another artist that can attest to these problems is Meek Mill. His repeated incarcerations show the deep impact the justice system can have on an artist's life and work. Riding high on the waves of his exploding rap career, Meek's journey through the legal system began at a young age. His first significant encounter with the law came when he was just 19. Arrested on gun and drug charges in 2007, he was sentenced to 11 to 23 months in prison. This initial time behind bars set the stage for a prolonged battle with the legal system that would have a profound impact on his life and creativity. The initial experience in prison was a shocking wake-up call for Meek. Stripped of his freedom, he was forced to confront the harsh realities of incarceration. The stark environment and strict routines were a far cry from the vibrant life he was used to. Yet, Meek found a way to channel his frustrations and fears into his music. During his time in prison, he began to write extensively, pouring his thoughts and emotions onto paper. This period of reflection and creativity laid the foundation for his future work, imbuing his lyrics with a raw and authentic edge that resonated deeply with his audience. Also, the mental effects of being in prison were very hard on both artists. Prison is meant to punish, not to encourage creativity. The stress, anxiety, and depression that often accompany imprisonment can cloud an artist's mind, making it difficult to focus on creativity. For Lil Wayne, the isolation from his collaborators and fans, who were essential to his creative process, added to this mental burden. Music, for many rappers, is a collaborative effort, and the absence of his team meant Wayne had to rely solely on his inner resources. Similarly, Meek Mill faced the frustration of being unable to access the tools and collaborators that fueled his creativity. The isolation and routines were suffocating, yet he refused to let these circumstances put out his creative fire. Meek turned to writing, using his experiences as food for his music. Like Wayne, he meticulously documented his thoughts, feelings, and observations, crafting lyrics that reflected his reality. Despite these setbacks, both rappers demonstrated endurance and adaptability. Lil Wayne used his isolation as a time for deep reflection, turning inward to draw inspiration from his circumstances. In letters that were later published in his memoir, Gone Till November, Wayne shared insights into his daily life, thoughts, and emotions, transforming his prison experience into a source of raw, authentic material for his music. Meek Mill's experience was similar in many ways. After his release from his initial prison term, Meek's career took off. His mixtapes gained traction, and his signing with Rick Ross's Maybach Music Group propelled him to new heights. However, the reality of his past legal troubles loomed large. In 2014, he was sentenced to 3 to 6 months in prison for parole violations, stemming from his 2007 conviction. This second stint in prison once again put a halt to his career momentum and posed significant creative challenges. Yet, upon his release, Meek returned to the studio with a sense of purpose. His music, now deeply infused with the pain and resilience born of his experiences, struck a chord with a wide audience. His 2015 album, Dreams Worth More Than Money, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, cementing his status as a major player in the rap game. However, the cycle of legal battles was far from over for Meek. In November 2017, he was sentenced to 2 to 4 years in prison for probation violations, including a failed drug test and an unapproved trip to New York for a concert. Talk about frustrating. This third stint behind bars was particularly demoralizing. The sentence was widely criticized as excessive and unjust, sparking a national conversation about the inequities of the criminal justice system. High-profile supporters, including Jay-Z and Kevin Hart, rallied to his cause, highlighting how the system unfairly affected young black men. Jay-Z wrote, "The sentence handed down by the judge against the recommendation of the assistant district attorney and probation officer is unjust and heavy-handed." Meek Mill's ongoing advocacy in music and Lil Wayne's The Carter 4 showed just how their time behind bars shaped their artistry. Peers in legal trouble. It's quite common for rappers to have run-ins with the law. Another major figure in hip-hop faced a very similar fate as Lil Wayne was Ja Rule. In July 2007, Ja Rule was arrested after a concert in New York City. Police found a loaded semi-automatic handgun in his vehicle. The timing couldn't have been worse, as Lil Wayne was arrested on a similar charge on the same night. Both rappers were charged with criminal possession of a weapon, a serious offense in New York, known for its stringent gun laws. The parallel arrests set the stage for legal battles that would culminate in prison sentences for both artists. In December 2010, Ja Rule pleaded guilty to attempted criminal possession of a weapon and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. He began his sentence in June 2011. Ja Rule's time behind bars was a humbling experience, one that saw him emerge with a renewed focus on his family and career. Unlike Ja Rule, Wayne's sentence was shorter, and he ultimately served 8 months of his 1-year sentence, being released early for good behavior. Lim Kim is another rapper that got caught up in a legal mess. In 2001, a shootout outside a Manhattan radio station involving her entourage led to a grand jury investigation. Lil Kim lied to the grand jury about her friend's involvement, leading to her conviction for perjury and conspiracy in 2005. Sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison, Lil Kim's case was a high-profile example of how the legal system can ensnare even the most prominent figures. Her time in prison was marked by reflection and the realization of the importance of honesty and integrity. Post-incarceration, Lil Kim focused on rebuilding her career and maintaining her status as a trailblazer in the industry. Now enter T.I. T.I. was riding high on his success when reality struck hard. In October 2007, just before the BET Hip Hop Awards in Atlanta, T.I. was arrested for attempting to purchase unregistered machine guns and silencers. The sting operation was a rough wake-up call for the rapper, who was already a convicted felon. In 2008, he pleaded guilty to federal weapons charges and was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison. This wasn't T.I.'s first encounter with the law, nor would it be his last. In 1998, at the tender age of 18, T.I. faced his first significant brush with the law when he was arrested on drug charges. This early encounter with the legal system set a pattern for the struggles that would follow him throughout his career. The young rapper found himself entangled in the criminal justice system, but he remained resolute, using these experiences to fuel his gritty lyrics and passionate performances. Fast forward to 2001, and T.I.'s legal woes escalated when he was arrested for the manufacturing and distribution of crack cocaine. This serious charge led to a prison sentence, but T.I. served only a portion of it before being released on probation. Despite this setback, he continued to climb the ranks of the music industry with his raw talent and street credibility propelling him forward. The most significant and publicized of T.I.'s legal battles came in 2007. T.I. was arrested for attempting to purchase unregistered machine guns and silencers from undercover federal agents. The gravity of these federal weapons charges could not be understated. T.I. faced the possibility of spending decades behind bars. In a strategic move, he struck a plea deal with prosecutors, agreeing to plead guilty in exchange for a reduced sentence. This deal resulted in a sentence of 1 year and 1 day in prison, along with house arrest and 1,000 hours of community service, where he spoke to youth about the dangers of drugs, violence, and guns. In May 2009, T.I. began serving his prison sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution in Forest City, Arkansas. Despite the confinement, T.I. refused to let his circumstances define him. He used his time behind bars productively, working on new music, writing a book, and planning his comeback. By December 2009, after serving approximately 7 months, T.I. was released to a halfway house, where he completed the remainder of his sentence under house arrest. However, freedom was short-lived. In September 2010, T.I. found himself in trouble once again, this time in Los Angeles, where he and his wife, Tamika "Tiny" Cottle, were arrested for possession of ecstasy. This arrest violated the terms of his probation, leading to an 11-month prison sentence. T.I. returned to the Federal Correctional Institution in Forest City in November 2010, facing the familiar confines of prison life once more. Behind prison walls, Rikers Island, located in the East River between Queens and the Bronx in New York City, is one of the largest and most notorious jail complexes in the United States. Known for its harsh conditions and a history of violence and corruption, Rikers Island houses thousands of inmates at any given time. Life for the average inmate here is characterized by strict routines, limited resources, and constant challenges. The daily life of an inmate at Rikers Island is highly regimented. The day begins early, typically around 5 o'clock or 6 a.m. with a wake-up call. Inmates must quickly prepare for the day, including personal hygiene routines and cell inspections. Breakfast follows shortly after, with meals served in the housing units or communal dining areas. Throughout the day, inmates participate in various activities, depending on their classification and privileges. These activities can include educational programs, vocational training, religious services, and recreational time. However, not all inmates have access to these programs, and many spend long hours confined to their cells, and gang activity is a significant concern. This reputation for violence, both among inmates and involving correctional officers. Fights and assaults are common, and gang activity is a significant concern. Inmates must constantly be vigilant to avoid conflicts and protect themselves from harm. Correctional officers at Rikers Island have also been implicated in violence and abuse. Numerous investigations and reports have highlighted the use of excessive force, physical abuse, and even instances of neglect. This environment creates a sense of fear and uncertainty for many inmates. Rikers Island, known for its harsh environment, became Lil Wayne's home for 8 months. Wayne was housed in the Eric M. Taylor Center, a unit for inmates with special needs, including those who are high profile or have special security concerns. His daily routine was structured, including wake-up calls, meals, and lights out, mirroring the regimented life of the prison system. However, Lil Wayne wasn't in there without any support. Some heavy hitters in the music industry were kind enough to visit the rap star and ease the boredom and loneliness of prison life. One of the people who visited Wayne in prison was Drake, Wayne's former mentee. He made several visits to Rikers Island. Their relationship dates back to Drake's early career, when Lil Wayne signed him to his Young Money Entertainment label. Drake's visits were a testament to their strong bond and mutual respect. By visiting Wayne, Drake not only offered emotional support, but also maintained the continuity of their professional relationship. Even Sean Combs went to see Wayne in prison. His visit to Lil Wayne was a significant gesture, reflecting the high regard in which Wayne is held by his peers. Diddy's visit was more than a simple show of support. It symbolized the unity and friendship within the hip-hop community. This visit helped boost Wayne's morale, providing him with reassurance from one of the industry's most influential figures. Fat Joe, another prominent rapper, visited Lil Wayne to show solidarity. These visits were important not only for Wayne's emotional well-being, but also for maintaining his public image and relationships within the music community. Outside the prison walls, Wayne received substantial support from the hip-hop community and other celebrities. Fellow artists, including Drake, Nicki Minaj, and T.I., publicly expressed their support and admiration for Wayne, emphasizing the unity and solidarity within the hip-hop community. Despite the challenges of prison life, Wayne managed to maintain his health and well-being. However, as if just being in jail wasn't enough of a problem on its own, Wayne did something that made his stay even more unbearable. In May 2010, Wayne was placed in solitary confinement for possession of contraband, specifically an MP3 player and headphones. This time in solitary added another layer of hardship to his incarceration, but Wayne used this time to further delve into his thoughts and writing. Throughout his incarceration, Wayne remained focused on his plans for after his release. He continued to strategize about his career, planning new music releases and business ventures. His team at Young Money Entertainment worked diligently to keep his brand active and relevant, ensuring a smooth transition back into the music industry. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check our other similar and amazing videos on the screen. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.